Right. You got annexation?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Somebody stab Louis in the neck with an ink pen for me, please. I have the ink pen. Okay, 6:45, let's call annexation to order. Okay, it is ordinance number 33 on tonight's agenda, a resolution approving the statement of service to provide to the property owners in the 2707 Fulton Drive Northwest area 2024 annexation. The approximate date of service will be provided. Procedures to reconcile incompatible zoning use upon it being annexed into the city of Canton, declaring the same to be an emergency. Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of council. This area is in Plain Township. It's 1.852 acres, and it's at 2707 Fulton Drive Northwest. And this is just the statement of services that have to be provided to the county within 20 days of filing, and this will be filed by the end of the week. So we're asking for this passage so that we can maintain the strict schedule that the state has prescribed for annexation.
Questions, concerns? Member 7.
Is this that, the tearing down that little strip mall there, is that part of it?
No, that is already in the city. The one that we're annexing is right across the street, right across Clearview.
Okay.
I'm sorry? Across Clearview? Yes.
All right, Mayor Romero, you good with that? It's your ward. All right, we'll sign that one out. It concludes annexation at 6:47.
Okay, let's do community and economic development.
6:47, I'm calling this meeting to order, and this is number 34 on your agenda, and this is authorized the service director to convey city-owned real property no longer needed for municipal purposes to Canton Community Improvement Corporation and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Madam Chair, members of council, the train station property located along Tusk over near the Short neighborhood. We've had it in our possession for quite a long time, and we're looking to work with Canton for All people to have that property repurposed and turned into affordable mixed-use housing for the area. And what's important to us is that we maintain the historical nature of that property and maintain the train station as it is intended to be a train station. So we intend to develop around the train station and provide additional housing options for the Short neighborhood and work with Canton for All people.
Good. Any issues, questions, or concerns? Okay, if you're not here, definitely sign that out, because we appreciate everything that Canton for All people do for the city of Canton. Okay, it's 6:48, and we'll sign that out.
Okay, let's do finance.
PM. The first item is number 35 on tonight's agenda. It's an ordinance authorizing the auditor to rename Fund 2324 and the Lockstone Access Frame Fund to 2324 Harm Reduction Fund, amending the appropriation ordinance number 247 to 2024 to declare the same meeting words.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of council. This is a request to rename the Fund 2324 from the Lockstone Access Frame Fund to 2324 Harm Reduction Fund to be more inclusive of the multiple funding streams that the health department has been receiving in relation to our harm reduction programming. Kansas City Public Health Lending was to create separate work codes that differentiate between current and future funding sources, which will help us better expend dollars. Additionally, we're asking council to appropriate $264,232 in new dollars in response to a 12-month grant awarded to Kansas City Public Health by the One Ohio Recovery Foundation. This funding will support the expansion of our harm reduction programming, specifically our syringe access contract with an outside agency who is positioned by mission to serve our Latin community with the goal of connecting those at risk of drug outcomes due to drug use by connecting individuals to harm reduction services. This is a 12-month grant with competitive application paid annually. Happy to take any questions.
Do you have the off-site location yet?
Yeah, the outside location is in front of McKinley 9th. That was purchased with a separate grant. We have several grants that fund the harm reduction work. So we're kind of blending some of the funding to support the expansion of the harm reduction work. Northwest, sorry, it's the old bus crisis center.
Yes.
We share the building with 2 other agencies.
Ward 2.
Ward 2.
What are the other agencies?
The first one is Summon Psychological, and the last one is Catholic Charities.
More questions?
And I just want to say congratulations for getting the grant. I worked on this, it's the One Ohio Foundation, which is the settlement funds that came from the drug industry. And it was very competitive, and I helped on that board when we looked at all of them, and we have a very strong application. So that money is coming from that settlement. So I just want to say congratulations for doing a good grant application.
Mr. Chairman? Director, speaking of settlement money, what have we ever done with the settlement money we've received to date?
So the health department does not have access to those dollars, but we've had conversations.
Councilman, we have done limited things with those funds so far. We've done the SWAT program with the health department over the last 2 to 3 years, and we're just kind of sitting and planning some other ways to spend the money. I think we have currently around $500,000 sitting in that fund to be spent. It will be appropriated with the budget coming up in a couple of weeks. So we're looking for ways to spend it, and we're partnering with the health department on a number of them.
If I may, do we have a criteria of how that money can be spent? Because initially, when those funds came back to us, and I questioned spending that money and what could we use it on, at that point, nobody knew, but now all of a sudden we're spending it. So is there,
Can I?
yes, please.
So the money that is here for this additional appropriation is separate from the money that the city receives. The money that we have was a separate grant application to the One Ohio recovery. So it does not have to do with the money that the city itself has received as a recipient, a municipal recipient of the One Ohio lawsuits. So those are separate. Right, so regarding the dollars that the city has, I'll let Mark take that.
There are specific rules and regulations that you have to follow within that. Mostly it has to deal with like recovery and helping people get off of drugs or, that type of situation. So we've only had requests so far for the SWAT program within the health department, which, is a big deal in itself, but we're still looking at other ways to partner with organizations that deal with that. Here in the city, we don't deal with it in general business, but we're looking to partner with somebody to spend the expense of those dollars.
If you and I could, either after this meeting or sometime this week, sit down and have a conversation pertaining to these funds, because I knew that there were some council members that had expressed some concerns of potential programs, youth outreach, things to keep kids off of drugs directly related to rehabilitation and keeping people off of these narcotics. And, our community, although we reap the benefits of this lawsuit, we also took it on the chin a little bit with losing quite a few jobs with Rite Aid and some of the other pharmacies in the area that these lawsuits put into bankruptcy. So I think that networking with some of the council members to see what kind of programs that we could actually get involved with would be a great idea. Thank you.
Also, I know there's a couple of grassroots, small organizations like Provide Health Services, running alcohol recovery services, and I'm not sure if they made aware that it's going to develop, possibility it's going to be developed at houses and stop for those type of things.
We don't have specific, like applications or anything that we prepare currently. We're just now kind of getting into the meat of the program because the funds just have been rolling out slowly in the last 2 years. We get like a check for like 50,000 one week and then don't get anything for a number of months and then we'll get some more money. So the funding is being spread out over several years. So, but we're going to, through the mayor's office, we'll have to work, I think we'll work with community development. That's a good group because they have a lot of nonprofits and things that they deal with. So ideally, we'll have to get Sharice and that group together as well with some council folks and we'll try to come up with some ideas.
Yeah, I think myself and Member Cooks would like to be involved with that before, as you say, we're putting the meat together before the refrigerator event.
And I think that the health department would be very much interested in being part of this conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing else, okay, we'll sign that out. Next item on the agenda, number 36 on your agenda. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor director of public service to advertise, receive bids, award, and enter into contract for the purchase of one Cameron collection truck for the collection systems department, or to alternately make such purchase pursuant to any procurement process authorized by law and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Mr. Chair, members of council, this is truck used as one of the 3 cleaning and televising crews. This truck, one of the trucks we're replacing is past its useful life. And trying to keep up with the replacement plan, to keep up with the US EPA order. It's estimated that this truck will cost approximately $336,000, and these funds were appropriated with CSD's temporary help.
Questions or concerns?
Just a question for my own personal knowledge. This is to purchase a truck, right?
Yeah, it's one of those, it's a Canton truck with all the equipment in the back.
Why is this in finance and why is it going through public property and capital improvement? All right, good question. We change something? Did I miss something?
Member Morris,
Yes.
I believe it's expenditures of funds goes through finance. It could possibly be a joint committee, but yeah, we'll look into that.
Capital purchase.
Okay, we'll go over the agenda. Any questions on third readings? We just heard the second readings. On first readings, we're going to be voting on number 32. Any questions on that or others? Any questions on communications? We have 3 informal resolutions tonight. Member Babcock has the invocation, and we will start at 7.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Canton City Council. If everyone would please put their cell phones to vibrate, we would appreciate it. Quorum being present, chair calls this meeting to order. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Smith. Maley. Kimbrough. Scaglione.
Here.
Chris Smith. Fisher. Cooks. Sacco. Morris. 12 present, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tonight's invocation will begin by Council Member at Large James Babcock, and if you'll please stand and remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Almighty God and Father, bless us all as we gather here today in our endeavors. May we be guided by your spirit and discretion, serenity, and wisdom. May we seek to do and deliberate on only those things which are compatible with your divine and eternal plan. Almighty Father, we also ask you to guide us today so that we may seek only to build and not to destroy, only to help and not to hurt, and only to instill love and concern, not hate and indifference. And may the trust which we have in you secure our confidence in what we are about to undertake. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Member. We are now over agenda corrections and changes. Leader Muriel.
Madam President, I move we suspend Rule 22A to add second readings ordinances number 33 through 36 to this evening's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to add second reading ordinances 33 through 36 to this evening's agenda. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Mariel.
Aye.
Babcock.
Aye.
Gevasis.
Aye.
Crystal Smith.
Aye.
Maley.
Aye.
Kimbrough. Scaglione.
Aye.
Chris Smith.
Aye.
Fisher. Cook. Sacco. Morris. 12 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. Motion passes. And ordinances 33 through 36 are now a legal part of the agenda. We are now under public hearings and we have none for this evening. We are under old business and we have none for this evening. We are now under public speaks. And we have 7 speakers this evening. As most of you have been here before, when I call your name, please approach the podium and give us your name and residential address. And our first speaker is Mr. Roger Gates. Mr. Gates.
My name is Roger Gates. I live at 611 Smith Avenue Northwest. I just come in here to be frank with you guys tonight. You know, some of the disrespect and things that we've exhibited, that I've been coming here for a while now, so I feel that I can say fairly that some of the ways that we've been treated on this side of the wall hasn't been fair from you guys, okay? But I've seen some changes. It excites me in a way because that means we're being heard. There's more of us coming out every week, and some of these people are in a fragile state. You know, just because you don't see it as a trauma does not mean that another person does. Let's get clear, our mental health care system in this city isn't very well. We got parkmen, they take them, stabilize them, turn them loose, put them back out on the streets. Now, as a byproduct, I'm happy to see that we're getting some treatment for these people here in town. But most of these kids are coming out with foster care and timing out, and they're let out onto the streets. To deal with their homelessness, to deal with the cold, to deal with other things, to numb themselves from the world. That's what leads them to the drugs. It becomes a choice, not an addiction. It becomes a lifestyle. This is a sociological profile of this. You can say it's a common issue, but you're lying to yourself. This is our community problem because they're down the street waiting to get in a warming center. Some of them won't go to the warming center because they're afraid to withdraw in the middle of the night and die in the middle of a homeless shelter, alone, with nobody to fight for them, nobody to even know where they belong. These kids, some of them are just the borderline of that health, being able to put into a healthcare system, into a group home. But they don't, then they get released on the street with their bag. And here you go, nice life, have at it. Then they're put out on the street and they're exposed to these problems that we have as a community. That's why I keep pushing us as a community, we're here. That's why we're coming to you, because you guys have the power to do something. We ultimately are coming to you, and when we got treated that way, I felt less than. And people tell me, why do you keep going back? I keep coming back because the people of the community is what's important to me. I can care less what anybody you think of me, I can care less what anybody else does. I'm out in this community. Anybody you go anywhere in this town from one end to the other, me and my son's out there, we're talking to these people. We're trying to find out what's going on in the community. Quit dumping money on something about 30 years ago with the Hall of Fame and start taking care of the people that are here. We're not going nowhere because we can't afford to go nowhere. Keep pushing us. Then you guys have no money. That money you guys are going to vote on in this household. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Gates. Our next speaker is Mr. Terrell, and I cannot read this, Bowles or Jones? Mr. Terrell Jones. Sorry, Mr. Jones. Terrence Jones, I can't read this. I'm blind apparently, I'm sorry.
That's my handwriting. It's Terrence Jones. My name is Terrence Jones. My address is 1810 10th Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio. I am a project developer, contractor here in the city of Canton. Some of my work I've done, if you've seen the house on 12th Street, 1225 12th Street, with all the flowers and lights and stuff going down, that's my baby. That's what I do. So prior to that, I bought a house where I'm currently living at on 10th Street, and I started reutilization in it, making it nice again, because the side lot, the area where it's at, it's a flood zone and it's not real safe. I got kids, it's a lot of grass and vegetation around the area, so I gotta be protective of them and kind of set up my situation where to keep the deer, the rodents out of my yard and everything. So I started doing things to the area and the yards to make that safe and to make it back beautiful again. To which the city had came in and kind of stopped my progress. So I got in touch with my council in my ward, Chris Smith. She came down and she seen the work I've done and, was ecstatic and got in touch with the mayor. The mayor came out, the previous mayor, and was very, very pleased with what I did to the point where he started putting motions and preparations in for me to acquire the properties next to my house that I bought. He had JR get all my taxes and stuff together for me. I paid all my taxes. The mayor told me to go to the side lot program, Sarah Peters. I went down there, I applied for my parcels. I waited 6 months, and just to hear something, I knew it was a process. Came back to Sarah Peters, and she said she lost my paperwork. So then I filled out another application, waited another 6 months, got a letter in the mail. She said it was denied because I owed taxes for the recent year that was coming up, but it was just in January. So so long story short, I paid those taxes too, went back to Sarah Peters to reapply for my property that the mayor was giving to me, and they said the program is not, that Matt Bailey has the program now from the city. I talked to Matt, told him what's going on. He already knew what's going on. He said, I'm going to send a letter out to you, fill it out, put all everything you did on there and everything, so that we can put you in a position to acquire the property. I mailed that back into Matt, waited 6 months. He lost the paperwork. So
I'm sorry, sir, your time is up, but I think we need to look into that, correct? And we will. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine, thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Daniel Gates. Mr. Gates.
My name is Daniel Gates. I'm from the United States Members of the council, I come before you today as a concerned citizen to address a serious issue regarding the rules of procedure for Canton City Council, provisions that restrict speech beyond constitutional limits. Under the First Amendment, government bodies may regulate the time, place, and manner of speech, ensured orderly meetings. However, those restrictions cannot be overbroad, vague, or selectively enforced against dissenting viewpoints. Unfortunately, several provisions of the Canton's rules violate these constitutional standards. Blanket prohibition on clapping and yelling. The rules prohibit any vocal reactions, clapping, and other disturbances. While cities can limit truly disruptive behavior, they cannot prohibit all expressive conduct. In Doris v. City of Santa Cruz, 2010, the Ninth Circuit ruled that non-disruptive applause at public meetings is protected speech. Similarly, in Acosta v. City of Costa Mesa, 2013, the Ninth Circuit struck down a rule banning clapping as an unconstitutional prior restraint on speech. I urge this council to clarify the rule to target only actual disruptions, not expressive conduct that does not prevent others from participating. 2. Vague ban on profane or vulgar language. The rule stated that profane, vulgar, or inappropriate language is prohibited. The Supreme Court has repeatedly ruled that offensive speech is protected unless it constitutes obscenity, incitement, or true threats. Cohen v. California, 1971. And Sanders v. City of Columbus, 2009, an Ohio District Court ruled that a city cannot remove the speaker for merely using offensive language. If this rule is vaguely enforced, it could be used to silence unpopular viewpoints, which is unconstitutional. Prohibition on personal attacks. While decorum is important, banning personal attacks is dangerously broad. In Baca v. Moreno Valley, 1996, the Ninth Circuit ruled that citizens have the right to criticize public officials in public meetings. Government officials are public figures under New York Times Company v. Sullivan, 1964, meaning they must tolerate strong criticism unless it meets legal threshold for defamation. If Canton wants to regulate civility, it must do so without restricting criticism of elected officials. Conclusion: Canton's rules overreach and violate well-established constitutional protections. I urge this council to revise these provisions so they comply with the Supreme Court and appellate decisions. Doing so will ensure fairness, prevent legal challenges, and uphold the First Amendment as well as stop. I would like to ask you to proceed with expulling Madam President. Deo Patria Mises.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. Our next speaker is Jesse Scott. Jesse Scott.
Hello, my name is Jessie, and I am 667 East in Akron. It is my understanding that no one on this council truly has the power to change CPS for the better. However, if you want a tip on the war on drugs and suicide rates in Canton, what a better way to consider preserving families rather than simply ripping them apart. I would appreciate members to please take a moment and hear my personal experience and to therefore be aware of a dire situation. Again, my name is Jessie, and I'm a peer recovery supporter for the state of Ohio and founder of Family Preservation Services for Stark and Summit County. I am not a Stark County resident, but my family has been greatly affected by your city's family court system. 1. Hendry versus Ohio Supreme Court is the only documents available to me in my childhood sexual battery. In this case, you will find that my parents received $4.1 million after my father claimed he couldn't help himself after he hit his head in a car accident. I also just found out I was supposedly awarded $300,000 of that, but I never did, even though there is an unsigned document filed saying that I did. 2. In August of 2020, my family experienced every parent's worst nightmare. My son's father was arrested for importuning a 13-year-old, and soon after, my son made devastating claims of what happened to him while in the care of my mother and at the hands of his father. When I tried to cut her out of our lives, she threatened to use her power in your clerk of court's office if we left. When I did, she filed false claims in an emergency hearing that I was on drugs. I was denied the right to a trial within my county, a continuance, an attorney, and the right to submit evidence to the court, which I was told by her community legal aid's parenting rights pro se class that all I simply had to do was bring them to court with me. And without charges or so much as a drug test, 2 out of 4 of my children were taken and placed into the care of a person who did nothing but neglect us while we were being abused. My ex-husband was also called to court. I was in domestic violence with him for a number of years. He was promised that his child support would be dropped if he showed up and slandered me, even though he hadn't seen us in 9 years. At every turn in my life, CPS and Canton's justice system has never shown to be there for me or my family as survivors. I begged CPS for help and for them to open a FINS case, but the truth is, if they see no reason to take your children, they don't help. I'm sorry to tell you guys, Mr. Geovasis, you have a rat in your clerk of court system. And that is why I'm asking this council to please consider having a Doge within the city of Canton. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott. Our next speaker is Mr. Justin Nicely. Mr. Nicely.
Good evening, Justin Nicely, again, Home Shanks, and the Father Advocate, and I stay over in Aston now. You guys come here, I don't know how many times I've explained to you guys that, you know, it runs on tales here of Daniel Gates as far as the freedom of speech, and also this here, what you just claimed as far as the CPS and ripping families apart. Y'all have to listen to the word even says, criticize, critique, slander, and ridicule victims. Okay? You have assumptions that you use as your ground foundation basis facts instead of actually having a component enough and integrity enough to have to sit down to the people that are begging you to look at what the problems are. I put almost 3.5, 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears into investigating what the problems are for those that affect the indigent and impoverished, single-parent family homes, and the reason as far as why we have an epidemic of fatherless children all throughout our entire country. The reason is because too much damn government oversight, but not enough intervention when it's needed. That's part of the problem. Part of the problem also is that you all have lost sight of the ground foundation. Basically, you all don't dictate any type of rule of authority over us. We're here to serve us. And understand the meaning of servitude means that you are to be selfless in your actions. You are to have a level of empathy. You are to be the standard and the example in your behavior. You haven't shown that, especially you, Ms. Bates. I'll tell you right here and now. You hurt so damn many, and your lack of compassion to give a damn of the people that I've had to sit here personally and help. And you have crucified me, and you've slandered me, and you've demonized me as this belligerent idiot who has no common sense whatsoever. There's no dialogue with me because there is no compromise. The problem is that none of y'all got the balls or guts enough to take the example, pick up the damn phone and call me and try to make an attempted effort. When am I going to get a phone call? When am I going to get an answer to the records request? Yes, Mr. Jason Hughes, I understand that when I file a formal records request with the city that I'm supposed to be receiving. Why not? Why didn't I? It's a very legitimate question. Why did the Canton City Police Department, I can't even talk to Andrew Perry, she's hardly ever here. She gets personal escorts here by Officer Watkins, who unfortunately intervened on me being able to file grievance, all because he goes on the foundation-basable word of somebody that has a title on the roll instead of actually listening to the grievance procedures and policies entitled to me under the damn laws. You don't even know them, but yet you're willing to sit there just on the foundation basis, somebody telling you something. That's the fact. Instead of actually looking at the real evidence and truth. There's a whole bunch of convoluted bullshit that I was doing. My documented fact contradicts this, and I'm waiting for one of y'all to sit down, have a bus, and actually make a legitimate effort to change. Have a nice night,
Thank you,
guys.
Mr. Nicely. Our next speaker is Ms. Sheila Billman. Ms. Billman?
Hi. Sorry I didn't make it on time last week. That won't happen again. So, we'll catch up with, I dated someone from New
Just
York.
one more time, I know, just for the recording, your name and address, just.
I'm not gonna give my address.
Oh, that's okay, just your name.
Address. We all heard my name, you said it. I'm Sheila Billman.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, let's catch up. I dated someone from New York who has family who are police officers, and he told me, don't think I can't get to you because you're there and I'm here, Sheila. I'll ask my police to ask your police for a favor, and that's what they'll do because that's what police do. So let's get started. It's hard to fight what you can't see, huh? I just need to know who I'm playing, because if I'm playing, I'm winning. Gang stalking and sex trafficking on the internet. That's what's been happening to me. When I asked my police for help, they tried to kidnap and drug me. And in fact, they said I couldn't be alone. I said I was alone before you got here. I haven't heard from them since. Right. I used to pass out things like from Cleveland Clinic that helps cure cancer, RSO. I used to pass out the Loto Silver. I didn't know I could pass out things, but I've got some homework for you guys. Everyone take that home, look it over, read it. So, I've been hacked and gang stalked for the last 4 years. Here are about almost 17 devices and phones that I've tried to carry in the last 4 years. I used to have the same number and same carrier for 20 years, which my mom could only remember my phone number. Verizon said they never seen anything like it, even they couldn't get me into my own account. So let's start at being accountable. Let's start with what police officers do. It's called Stingray or a Dropbox, and that's what they do to hack and collect all of your information and download. It's called key logging. It's a device that acts or pretends like a cell phone tower. It tricks your cell phone into pretending the network. It acts like your network. It acts like your network provider and your carrier, your download. Let's get next to the next one. This one is citywide. That's called Stingray and Dropbox. Let's go to Genesis. That's more statewide and county. So Genesis is a wireless airwave that tracks in your SIM card. If you don't have one of those, they will find one for you and give you your own number to your own phone in your own location, even if your location is off. If you have an email, that's all they need to track and hack you, is your email. And a little bit of Google Maps. Don't forget Google. I won't. So let's skip to Pegasus. That's more international. It's not a hacking app. It's a program.
Thank you.
I just need to know who's I'm fighting.
Our next speaker is Ms. Kim Bell. Ms. Bell.
And if I had more than 3 minutes, I would have already done it. I would have ate her 15 times.
Kimberly Bell, 1733 Morris Avenue. First, Mr. Maley, I have to apologize for my behavior over the weekend on social media. I don't know you agree with Chance. I also felt like the two council members, Chris and Brenda, who are the two oldest black members of the chamber, should have given Eric some advice on applying just as Aaron did. Because I'm guessing since Aaron has no political experience, he wasn't aware that he could, since he was already on the ballot. With the corruption in politics that is being exposed today, and the sneaky moves and not seeing something and saying something is the reason we are so divided. And today, qualifications is not a requirement. It's race, fairness, and generational. But this is what it is. The reason I will continue to keep showing up and putting my name on the ballot because of the law, because a lot of these rules in politics and law need revised to a fair and simple form. Because Ward 1 seat should make those on the ballot not able to apply for that temporary seat. And anyone from any ward that is not on the ballot can apply for that temporary seat until the election. Giving all the candidates on the ballot a clear shot and equal chance. Now on to other business. Thank you, Nate, for the update and interest of the Northeast Community Center. You all have a copy of the pictures I showed you last week concerning the empty building that needs to be utilized for those who are less fortunate or dealing with mental health issues. Tyree Grimes is right here. He has a foundation called Clean. I'll talk more about this next time.
Thank you, Ms. Dell. Thank you to our speakers. We are now under informal resolutions. We have 3 for this evening. Madam Clerk, will you please read informal resolution number 1 by